Welcome to the Weeknight Mysteries podcast, episode number 44. My name is Yuras, and I'm here with my co-host Rain. How are you, Rain?
As always, pretty good. How are you today?
I'm pretty good. Today we're going to be talking about Adrienne Salinas' disappearance and then strange death. 19-year-old Adrienne Salinas went missing in June, 12 years ago, after a party. And she, things happened. It was a hectic night, a hectic party for her. They were hosting someone's birthday party. She was a 19-year-old university student. And she got into a fight with her boyfriend. She went back and forth from his place, tried to get back to his place again later in that same night, ending up calling a cab. But she never arrived at the agreed pickup spot with the cab driver. And her remains have been found a couple of months later in somewhere kind of far away, to be honest, from where she was last known to be. And this is a strange case. I never heard about it before. Have you? You probably never heard about it, right?
Only because of you. I've only heard it because of you. But this is a very interesting case because, sometimes there are cases wherein they left a clue or something. But this one is kind of odd for me because it seemed like she just, of course, after everything that happened that night, she just seemed to disappear and then reappeared.
Well, her remains were found.
Yeah.
So she didn't really reappear.
True.
But I know what you mean. But to me, it seems like there was foul play.
Yeah, it seems so. But whoever did it, to be honest, I have no idea.
Yeah, but we do have the thing about Adrienne's case. We have several individuals we have to take a look at that look suspicious to us, and we could jump right into the case.
Yeah, let us know about the background, please.
Adrienne Celeste Salinas was a 19-year-old college student from Tempe, Arizona. Tempe, it's like a city, but it's, the way I see it from the maps, it's a suburb of Phoenix. She vanished in the early morning hours of June 15th back in 2013. So these were early morning hours on Saturday. She was described as an intelligent, motivated girl. She was close with her family, especially with her father and her younger brother. At the time of her disappearance and death, Adrienne was studying journalism at Gateway Community College, and she had been in a long-term relationship with her boyfriend Francisco Ortega, whom she had met in 8th grade. I've seen some sources that described their relationship as an on and off again type of a relationship.
It kind of makes sense because it started when they were very young.
Yeah, it seemed like they were always friends, and it seemed that Adrienne, she wanted to know if they are boyfriend, girlfriend, or are they just friends? And it seems like they're boyfriend and girlfriend, but at the time of her disappearance, seems like Ortega started drifting apart slightly. Did you catch that?
Yes.
All right, so on the night of June 14th, back in 2013, this was a Friday, Adrienne and her roommates hosted a birthday party at their apartment. At around 2:30 a.m., past midnight, Adrienne and her boyfriend Francisco left the party because they had an argument. I think the argument was about their relationship. I think Francisco Ortega was kind of getting interested in some other girl, and this caused a fight. So they decided to leave the party at 2:30, and they went to Ortega's apartment in Scottsdale, which is, I think, maybe like 20 to 30 minutes away via car from Tempe, where Adrienne's apartment was. By 3 a.m. that night, Adrienne wanted to return home when she was already at Francisco Ortega's place because the fight never stopped. They just kept fighting. So Francisco decided to drive her back to her apartment, but she left his car before he even got to her apartment. She left at a stoplight at 3:22 a.m.
Okay, I just have to say, it seems like whatever kind of fight was happening in that car, it was explosive. But she had to walk out.
Yeah, she had to like step out, almost like from a driving car.
Yeah.
So thankfully, the place where she stepped out was already kind of close to her apartment. It was already walking distance. So she decided to walk the short distance to her apartment alone. Francisco Ortega called her roommates to inform them that Adrienne was walking home and for them to be on the lookout for her. Adrienne returned home at around 3:40 a.m. past midnight, and soon after arriving home, she leaves her apartment one more time. So she goes back to the party. Now she leaves again with an overnight bag. This time, she intended to return to Francisco's apartment, the same place where she just decided that she doesn't want to stay the night. And she decided to take the car and drive back to the boyfriend's house. You know, like maybe emotions kind of wore off and now she maybe just wanted to go back to see Francisco.
Yeah, but then again, she was intoxicated at this point.
Yeah, by the sound of it. So she leaves in her car. Apparently her roommates tried to stop her, but she still leaves in her car. See, I think she was intoxicated. She didn't get far because at 3:44 a.m., she got into a single car accident as she hit a median and blew out 2 of her tires, making her car not drivable. She parked the car on the side of the road and she left the scene. This was reported by a Starbucks employee that witnessed the whole thing. You know, the Starbucks guy called the cops. But Adrienne already left the vicinity. She started walking back to her home because the place where, you know, she hit those tires, it was once again kind of close to her apartment. So she could just walk back. Then after returning home to the apartment, by the way, this second time that she returns to her apartment, no one really saw her, but it's believed that she went back because I think she changed her clothes and she now wanted to still get back to Francisco's, but you know, her car is already kind of like wrecked. Not wrecked, but you know, not drivable on the side of the road. So she's kind of like in a very chaotic night already.
Extremely. At this point, it was probably around like 4 a.m. then.
Yeah, it's very chaotic.
Yeah, I might as well just sleep it off.
So no, she wants to get back erratically to Francisco's. She calls Francisco 11 times between 4:10 and 4:45 a.m. Francisco never picked up the phone calls. Maybe he was sleeping. She also texted him, "I'm coming over." I think this was the last time she texted Francisco Ortega. So since her car was not drivable anymore, she called a cab company called Scottsdale Cab Guy at 4:53 a.m. She spoke with the driver Thomas Simon Jr. She arranged to be picked up from the AM/PM convenience store at the Hardy and University. So this location where she agreed to be picked up by Thomas Simon Jr. is not her apartment. It's like a convenience store several blocks away from her apartment. I think the police said that maybe Adrienne was kind of like didn't want people to know that, oh, she's taking a cab now, because maybe she didn't want her roommates to know that, she kind of got into a car accident as she was maybe drunk driving or something. Understandable. She didn't.
Completely understandable. It's been a very long night for everyone.
Yeah.
And remember you mentioned that the roommates were stopping her from leaving with the car.
Yeah.
And then she came back. So I'm assuming that the second time around, she was sneaking out?
Yeah, she was. I think no one even saw her coming back for the second time. Surveillance cameras captured a woman matching Adrienne's description walking in the direction towards AM/PM gas station at 4:52 a.m. 4:52 a.m. So I didn't understand which exact surveillance footage was this, but some footage along that stretch of road captured what seems to be Adrienne. But when the cab driver, Thomas Simon Jr., showed up to the AM/PM convenience store and gave Adrienne a call, Adrienne answered the phone and she said that I'm almost there, that she was almost at the AM/PM to get picked up by the cab driver, Thomas Simon Jr., but she never arrived. The driver attempted to call her again, so Thomas Simon Jr. called her one more time. This is 14 minutes later at 5:07 a.m., but her phone was already off. This created a narrow window in which Adrienne Salinas vanished. She vanished on this fairly short distance, fairly short walk in Tempe between 4:53 and 5:07, which is 14 minutes. She was never captured on AM/PM CCTV footage. The footage did capture the cab driver. I think there was, I even have a screenshot of his cab, as it kind of pulls into the parking lot, but it never captures Adrienne. Thomas Simon Jr. was the responding cab driver from Scottsdale Cab Guy. Okay, he according to him, Adrienne was upset on the phone call because, she called the cab company first. Apparently, she just was very in a rush to get back to her boyfriends. So Adrienne called, the cab guy, and the cab guy was like, okay, I'll be right there, because apparently she was very, she really wanted to get going, you know what I mean? At the time when Thomas Simon Jr. received the phone call from Adrienne, he was 25 minutes away from the agreed location, which is that AM/PM convenience store. According to Thomas Simon Sr., Jr.'s father and the owner of the cab business, his son arrived to the location, called Adrienne, couldn't get a hold of her, stepped outside of the car, smoked some cigarettes, and left, as he never got the hold of her. Adrienne was reported missing the next afternoon by her father, who became alarmed when she failed to contact him on Father's Day. Apparently, Adrienne and her father, they would go on a Father's Day, like, dates, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That's a terrible way to
find out that your daughter's missing.
Yeah.
Like, the worst possible way, right?
Insane.
Weeks of searches produced no breakthroughs. Both Francisco, the boyfriend, and Thomas Simon Jr., the cab driver, cooperated with police, and they were eventually cleared of any suspicions, cleared. Let's just put it this way, cleared, because by the sound of the detective on YouTube, he doesn't seem like he's holding no suspicious towards, let's put it this way, Thomas Simon Jr., but it seems like the boyfriend is kind of cleared. On August 6th, nearly 2 months after she disappeared, a man discovered human remains in a desert wash basin in Apache Junction, likely exposed after a heavy monsoon flood. DNA confirmed that the remains were Adrienne's. The medical examiner could not determine the cause or manner of her death, but investigators treated the case as a homicide because they believed that someone killed Adrienne somewhere else and then dumped her body. And then the monsoon flood came in and it washed her remains to the location where they were eventually found. Another chilling aspect of how her remains were found is that not all of her remains were found. It was mostly mummified bones. From the looks of it, the autopsy never mentions the head or hands of Adrienne Salinas. So we don't really know how she died, but it looks very criminal. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's insane to think about. I did not know that they found her in pieces, basically.
Pieces, yeah. They never found her head.
That's insane.
Which will be something we are gonna be discussing in a little bit. All right, so despite extensive interviews, searches, and even surveillance on the cab driver, they put a surveillance team on Thomas Simon Jr. No suspects have ever been named publicly. Like, they never came out with a name for a suspect. There was another possible connection to a suspected serial killer, Brian Patrick Miller, who is otherwise known as the Zombie Hunter Killer. They examined him in 2015 when he was finally caught for his killings back in the early 90s. But there has never been any connection substantiated by police. Another interesting detail worth mentioning in this case, and I think it's a real detail, but then I couldn't find the source again because I was going through like some articles, and I think something somewhere mentioned that somehow along the way, and I could be wrong here, so take this information with a grain of salt, Adrienne's cell phone disappeared. It was at one point in custody of, I think, her family or something, but then they somehow lost it, or it could have been in custody of the police, and somehow, some way, her phone got lost, allegedly. It's a weird little detail. I couldn't really find much information about it. Today, her death remains officially classified as a suspicious death, and her case is still unsolved. Authorities are offering a $20,000 reward for information leading to an arrest or resolution to her case. Her family continues to seek justice and answers for Adrienne. Oh man, before we kind of jump through the individuals that we kind of need to discuss right now, what do you think? What jumps out to you? What do you think happened just from your initial thoughts?
To be honest, I have no idea what happened. It's bizarre for me to know that there's such a short time when she disappeared.
14 minutes.
Yeah, is there any body of water nearby?
Yes.
She could have fell in?
There is a body of water. I forgot the name of the lake, but there is this really big lake. I think it kind of separates Tempe from Scottsdale. Mm-hmm. But I think it was explained that if she went into that lake,
or accidentally fell into that lake,
somehow ended up there, it would have she would have been washed up earlier.
Oh.
So they're saying that
she was abducted. Was she abducted?
Yeah, but we found her remains were found. I don't think
Mummified.
I don't think her remains, the location where her remains were found, I'm not sure if they connect to the river.
Oh, it's an entirely different place.
So they were found in a wash. So I had to look this up. A wash is basically in these locations like Arizona, it's like a completely dry piece of road that gets completely flooded during flood season. So it's usually just dry road, but during the floods it kind of is completely underwater.
I'm assuming due to the rainfall and not by, I don't know, flooding from like a nearby river, body of water, lake.
Yeah, I think it's due to rain. I'm not sure. Maybe it could be that it rained so much into the river that the river starts spilling at some point. I don't know. I don't know how it works. I didn't really. That's actually a good point. I didn't really look into it that much from this angle. Yeah. So you think it's weird? This like 14 minutes something happened.
14 minutes. But the thing is, all I can say is that from the story,
Yep.
from the initial story, she seemed very erratic that night. She was acting very erratically. Maybe under the influence of alcohol, maybe she was really, really drunk. But at the same time, it felt like she was spiraling down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they were in a party, they fought. She ran out of the car, walked back home immediately, wanted to go back to Francisco's apartment, and then messaged him, called him even 11 times. It seemed like a very erratic behavior. I'm not sure if it's like due to emotion or alcohol or both.
That's a good point, because we have to assume that she was still in that erratic phase.
Yeah, and she also wanted to go back, drove when even her roommates were stopping her from going back, from driving basically. And then she had an accident, walked back upset, called a cab. I want to go to my boyfriend right now. So it seems very like maybe she was afraid of that relationship being severed, but it seems like such an erratic behavior. Like something, she was so desperate to go see Francisco.
Yeah.
To the point that it did not make sense at all.
Yeah, and I think you brought a good point, because I think when she went missing in those 14 minutes, to me, it seems like we still believe that she was erratic during those 14 minutes. So she could have made a mistake during those 14 minutes that costed her life.
Yeah, I'm assuming so, mainly because she already did with the car.
She already did make a mistake with a car,
Mm-hmm.
and now she was walking out. It feels like, it feels like very chaotic time.
Right? It's not like she wasn't acting rational, let's put it that way. At all. Because after you drink, you know you shouldn't drive a car, but she still did. Got into an accident, and I don't know, that should have been like, oh, this is over. I'll fix it in the morning. But something about it, like 11 calls, something tells me like she was desperate. I don't know why, or I don't know how to fix that relationship.
Yeah.
It's kind of like confusing to me at the same time. What do you think about it?
No, I think you summarized my thoughts, to be honest. I think it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think before we get into more speculation,
Mm-hmm.
I think let's kind of go through the people here.
Oh wait. Before you continue, I just want to say, it feels like at that 14 minutes, she is still very erratic to do something, to make a big mistake that costed her life herself, intentionally or not intentionally, just herself. Or she was also in a very, very vulnerable position to be taken advantage of. Because it also felt like she was just desperate to go to Francisco's home. Maybe she hitchhiked and it was the wrong person.
Yeah, well, it seems like she was trying to get to the cab.
And then what? What happened?
She didn't make it, apparently.
In the convenience store, which was blocks away from her home.
Yeah, so something happened in that...
in that span of time and span of distance.
Yeah, which is not that big.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the boyfriend, Francisco Ortega. So he is a longtime boyfriend. The couple had been dating on and off since they were in 8th grade, and Ortega tirelessly participated in the search for Adrienne when she was missing. He was cleared as a suspect at the beginning of the investigation. So from the boyfriend perspective, I also think he's kind of innocent. I looked at the several interviews he did with the media. I don't know. To me, I got the impression that he didn't do anything. And then I'm also thinking, how would logistically would it even work for him to be involved? Because Adrienne is calling him, he's not picking up, so he wouldn't even know that she's calling a cab trying to get to his place. So it really seems like she was already kind of close to the cab because she was captured on CCTV. So for me personally, it doesn't make sense that he would wake up on his own accord. I'm gonna now drive back towards Adrienne's, and by this pure chance spot her as she's walking to the cab, intercept her, and then foul play happens. Because that's how I would see more or less a scenario where he would be involved. Like he spots her by a chance as he for no reason is driving towards AM/PM convenience store, because AM/PM convenience store is in the opposite direction from Scottsdale. It's kind of heading south. So there's no reason for him to be there ever. Like if AM/PM was kind of like on the way
or like by the middle
somewhere, this is in a different direction. What do you think? Do you feel any suspicions? Probably not, right?
No, not at all. From what we know, my impression was just Francisco was a kid. They were having relationship problems, and he even texted the roommates, right? When he was dropping her off the first time.
Yes.
Yeah, so that alone, it seemed like he really did care about Adrienne. And I'm not sure, maybe he was ignoring those phone calls, because come on, let's put it this way, 11.
I was
phone
always
calls.
thinking that he's sleeping.
Sleeping?
Yeah, he's sleeping.
And the phone is on silent mode? Maybe.
Yeah, he's just sleeping through it.
Yeah, I guess it was so late. Well,
Yeah.
it was early morning at that point. So yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I don't really find him suspicious at all. And he also participated, tried to search for her.
Yeah. So now let's talk about the cabbie.
This one is more suspicious than Francisco, to be honest.
I have to agree. I have to definitely agree. We're going to be talking about the cabbie. Cabbie name is Thomas Simon Jr., the cabbie. Okay. So the cab driver who was dispatched to pick up Adrienne at the convenience store during the early morning hours of her disappearance was Thomas Simon Jr. Investigators quickly took an interest in him, and they began surveillance of him on June 20th, which I think, I'm not sure. I think they started surveillance on him actually on 2 days after her disappearance. Oh, yes, because she was reported missing on the 16th. Okay, yeah, so kind of really almost like in a few days of her disappearing, they immediately put him under surveillance. And they would even take a DNA sample from him on June 27th. No evidence was found in his cab that he was driving that night, although investigators would occasionally receive tips about this cabbie.
Wait, what kind?
Well, one tip that they received explained that a cousin of the person who reported the tip had already heard a woman screaming from inside of his apartment on about
Okay, that's not suspicious at all.
Yeah, I think maybe 1 month.
Oh, a month before.
After her disappearance.
Oh, so it could be just I don't know, a girlfriend or something.
It could be something. I'm reading different sources. I'm just kind of going with my gut feeling on like which source is correct here. I think the source that is correct, that someone heard a woman screaming from his apartment like a month after Adrienne's disappearance. So this probably is not Adrienne, but still kind of weird. And yeah, he's never been named as a suspect officially. So let's kind of delve deeper. 2 days after the disappearance of Adrienne Salinas, police called Thomas Simon Jr. and Thomas Simon Sr. on a conference call. So, you know, like they Junior and Senior and the police officers are all in 3 different locations. Senior is still at like maybe the cabbie dispatch office or something, and Junior is being a cabbie. He's just driving around.
Okay.
So Junior receives the conference call as he's driving some passengers to a location. So it's kind of like a weird cab drive. Could you imagine? You're in a cab, you're being taken to a location, and as you are on the location, someone's like on loudspeaker. The cab driver is on loudspeaker talking to the FBI agents, or like to the police agents
about being innocent,
about explaining what he. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's insane to think about.
So basically, there was a husband and a wife in the as passengers as he was receiving this call. It's kind of a strange predicament, right? The passenger said that the call basically scared her, and said that Thomas Simon Jr. was an odd guy. Apparently, after this conference call ended, Junior told the passengers that he was the last guy to speak to Adrienne Salinas, the girl that vanished 2 days ago. But he could not remember if he was supposed to pick her up.
What?
How could he, like...
How could you forget?
Yeah, how would he forget? I don't know.
Oh, wait. I think I know how.
Okay.
It's just a random day for you. For example, you got a call, but no, if you got a call and someone was a little bit erratic, someone's being a little bit crazy, you would remember.
I think he later talked to police, and he definitely acknowledges that he was the guy in the convenience store waiting for Adrienne. So I think maybe it was just in the moment with these 2 passengers that he couldn't remember.
Yeah, I guess maybe since he's a cabbie and he's probably driving people all day, kind of get mushed together.
Could be that, like, when you're a cabbie...
Yeah, you get a lot of drunk people here and there.
You kind of maybe forget.
A lot of characters.
Yeah. So... Also, the passengers in this particular predicament said that the conversation was weird. After they stopped at the location, I think, where they were supposed to be dropped off, Thomas Simon Jr. popped the trunk and pulled out a hacksaw, which is a hacksaw is like something that you would like saw off like a piece of wood.
It's basically like a long saw with two handles, right?
Yeah, or like not even super long. It doesn't have to be super long, but like, and he told them, "Oh, I don't know how this got here." He was like, "Oh, interesting. Who put a hacksaw in the back of my cabbie?"
Why the hell would you tell your passengers that? Like, just keep it to yourself, man.
So the passengers at this point were really scared, and they thought that they were in danger when he pulled out this hacksaw.
I can imagine, yeah.
I think it could be either completely nor innocent or it could be weird.
It's definitely weird. Imagine yourself just having a normal day. Hey, you booked a cabbie because you need to go somewhere, and all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, how did this hacksaw
He
got
gets
here?"
called by police about,
And then he was like, "Oh yeah, I was the last contact of that missing girl." And then all of a sudden, like, "Oh, what's this hacksaw doing here?"
yeah.
I'd run.
So nothing happened to these passengers. 2 days later, law enforcement put Simon Jr. under surveillance. Law enforcement said that Jr. started doing heat runs, making erratic turns. So basically, there was a car following his cab, but he was making weird heat runs. I assume he was trying to evade surveillance.
Oh, so that's what you call it? Heat run?
I guess.
When you're trying to like drive fast and go through different cuts and corners?
Yeah, I guess. The law enforcement followed him for 3 hours, but they eventually lost him in a parking lot. So maybe he knew that he was being tailed by police.
3 hours though.
Yeah.
That's a lot of time.
Yeah, I think they wanted to see if he will maybe return to the location where, they could find Adrienne's remains or somehow, implicate himself. But never came of it. But it's kind of getting weird already, right? On June 26th, law enforcement went to his house and they tried to get him to go to the police station and for him to do a polygraph. Now, he refused. 2 days later, they got a search warrant on his home and to get his DNA as well as search his cab. They found nothing, no trace evidence of anything that would implicate him in the case. But as they got the search warrant, they also kind of took him to the police station. And do you remember that video from the police station where he's like doesn't have a shirt on? Or maybe you didn't. Maybe you were listening. You didn't. Were you weren't
I was
watching?
listening. I wasn't watching.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. So he basically doesn't have a shirt on, and he's kind of really mad at the police station. He's really mad, and I think to me, it's kind of hard to say if he's guilty or if he's just angry because he's not guilty, and maybe at this point, I would even lead towards that maybe he's not guilty. To me, it looked like he was just really pissed because, he's minding his business. I think they took him out of his house without a shirt on because he's all like shirtless on the footage.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, how are you gonna fix my life? My neighbors saw me getting apprehended by police, this and that." So I kind of understand him if he's innocent.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And he's just trying to, he's angry. But he was very angry. During the police interrogation, they took his DNA. He was very angry when they took his DNA. 1 month into Adrienne's disappearance, this is before her remains were found, a woman said that she heard another woman screaming in his apartment, and she described the sound of a woman in desperation and sounded like someone was trying to cover her mouth. Law enforcement tried to investigate, but Simon Jr. would not let them inside his apartment. So we never found out if what was happening in his apartment.
Suspicious.
Yeah, it's suspicious, and it also makes me think, the woman who reported this to the police, did she already know that Junior was kind of like being low-key suspected by police, and she already was on a lookout, or this was I feel like this was a completely random call to the police by someone who doesn't even know that Junior is already under investigation.
Yeah.
So it's like he's getting a phone call about himself to the police by someone completely who doesn't even know about Adrienne Salinas, I assume. So what do you I don't know, man. Like, I feel like it's weird that some girl was screaming in his apartment.
It's super weird. Like, I understand why he did not let the police in, but it's still really weird. Like, who was that girl?
So his father, Senior, Thomas Simon Senior, the owner of the camp company, he said he offered his own take on the case. He said that my son doesn't have a single bone in his body that could hurt anyone. So he believes in the innocence of his son. He suggested that there could have been a competing cab company that have picked up Adrienne. Because what these cab companies back in the day, I'm sure they're already gone due to, Uber, basically making taxi companies irrelevant.
Yeah, I actually forgot that this was happening way back then.
Me too. That you would call a cab, agree where you're gonna meet up, and when.
Because initially when you were telling me that, I was just like, why didn't she just do Uber?
And it didn't exist yet.
Yeah.
So this is before that. So basically, Thomas Simon Sr. said that, it could have been that she got scooped. Scooping was a term used by like cabbies back in the day or something, where someone sees someone walking or waiting.
Oh yeah, and they're probably offering like, hey, I can drop you off.
No, they wouldn't even offer. They'd be like, oh, you called the cab? And they would
that's
go
a
in.
Thing?
Yeah, and that's it. And so I think Senior said someone else may have picked her up. I don't know if Senior wants to like tell us that other competing cabbies are like serial killers, or maybe he's just explaining how maybe the competing cabbie wasn't a serial killer, but like took her from A to B and something happened at B. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, my only concern and my only question in this case is that it was 4 a.m. How busy were the streets there?
It was almost 5. And it was Saturday, early morning Saturday. So, like all the parties were already kind of like dying down.
And people are going back.
I don't know how busy it is. I'm guessing it's not busy.
Yeah, because when you were telling me the story and as I was researching, I was picturing a completely empty road. Yeah. But maybe it's more like, I don't know, a city. Where everyone's always passing by.
I don't think it's a city like that. To me, it also seems like it was not that busy.
It could be dead at some point of the night, right?
I feel like it was completely dead because I looked at it on the Google Street Views, and it already looked kind of not that active during daytime.
Did it look like a suburb?
No, but it looked like it looked like a place that's dead at night. It's not New York we're talking about here. You know what I mean? It's like it's not a lively place all day long.
Because that's when I'm assuming. I'm really sorry.
No, take your time, please.
That's when I'm assuming that the scooping would happen if it's kind of like New York.
If there would be multiple cabbies, that's a good point. Is this a location where cabbies would just hang around?
Yeah, in hopes that they would be able to scoop out someone. How big is this place? How busy?
So do you feel like it's weird that Senior came out here and he's like providing like his own theories?
No, not at all. I just
You think Senior is just trying to help out?
I think Senior is protecting his son, because what kind of father would he if he didn't? But I'm also just a little bit suspicious and a little bit confused and curious about this place that we're talking
this
about.
whole location, right?
This whole location, like, because I'm just really convinced that taxi drivers would drive around in a busy location to scoop out someone, not like in a completely dead place. So what are the chances that there are some cabbies in that location at that point of time just randomly driving around? Maybe there is.
I also think that it probably isn't a big chance.
Now, what I'm assuming is that there might be a chance that there are some private cars.
Yeah, there should be.
Yeah, right. The possibility of like an empty taxi cab picking her up is kind of like, at least for me, in my opinion, slightly, well, not slightly, way lower than like the chances of a private vehicle passing
Picking
by.
her up, yeah.
So I don't know.
I have to agree with you. All right. So jumping back a little bit, right? Senior himself, 1 month after the disappearance, he went to Adrienne's neighborhood and he made a YouTube video. Did you see this? Or you
No.
heard about it? Maybe you heard about it.
Actually, no, this is new.
I think they were mentioning it on that news report. Basically, he went on Adrienne's neighborhood. He made a YouTube video.
Oh yeah, I've heard this mentioned, but I haven't seen the YouTube video.
I also haven't seen the YouTube video. I just seen a little bit, like a clip from it. He basically walks around the neighborhood and he shows different locations and angles of where a culprit could be hiding. Like he's filming like a corner, like someone could be hiding here. He walks past like some sort of a sign, like a sign, but it's like the sign's kind of like parked on the ground. It's like like how some either like hotels or like apartment complexes have like a big sign next to the complex. So he's like, oh, someone could have been hiding behind this sign and then snatched her up. So it was the police investigator described that this was a pretty strange video to make.
Extremely.
You find it extremely strange?
Yes, that's not necessary at all.
So Senior said that he made the video because he thought the video would help people who want to get a better understanding of
But
his...
why did it have to be so specific?
So the thing about this video, I don't necessarily find it too strange because from the video clip, they also kind of showed his YouTube channel name. It was like Thomas Simon Radio reporting something. I think he was kind of like trying to become a YouTuber, sort of, you know what I mean, on the side. So I think maybe he just was like, oh, this is a good content.
So basically you're saying that
Kinda
it's
like
all out of
he's kind of like having
innocence.
fun, maybe. But Senior does have a criminal record. He has a criminal record, and most recently he was arrested after forcing his girlfriend to have relations. He forced his girlfriend to have relations with him and threatened to blackmail her. So Senior, not the best boy in the world. He was apprehended because of this in 2018. So this is 5 years after Adrienne went missing. They took custody of Senior at gunpoint. There's even police body cam footage as they apprehend Senior. They kind of like pulled out guns on him and they treated him like he's a violent criminal in 2018. They searched his apartment and his computer. They never found the video that he threatened his girlfriend with if she does not do relations with him. And the charges of blackmailing have been dropped, but he pleaded guilty to a lesser charge of disorderly conduct. So he is by the sound of it, it's not like he's not the nicest dude in the world. And years before that, there were other charges of running away from cops in Arizona, forgery, and stolen property. Due to that stolen property charge, he landed in prison for 6 years. So this is prior to Adrienne's disappearance. So this is a guy who sat in jail for 6 years. So he's kind of like, he's, I don't know,
Senior or junior?
senior.
Okay.
Senior has a criminal past and seems like a fairly extensive criminal past with like prison sentences, or at least 1 6-year prison sentence.
And now I find that video more suspicious.
That he made it there, you're right. It does, in my opinion, at the very least, it doesn't make him look any less suspicious.
Yeah. I just find it so specific. Why do you have to be like, oh, this is where the culprit must have hidden, or this one? That's just so odd.
I think my logic is that he was trying to kind of like do a YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. He
Just not thinking about it too much.
Yeah.
Okay, could be.
I also found, I was browsing through Web Sleuth. I also found someone mentioning on Web Sleuth, like, and I can't verify this, but someone said, I remember speaking to Senior personally during this time. I did not suspect him or his son were involved. I know he did cry when he found out about Adrienne's remains being found because he felt bad for her family. I spoke to him when he found out her remains were found. I followed up with detective around this time as well, who didn't seem interested in anything other than my physical profile. I don't know what this is. This is like a big comment. This is just like a little line from a big comment. So, some person that I cannot verify at all from West Blues said that he cried when he found out that Adrienne was her remains were found. So if this could be true, this could be not true, but I'm just gonna put it out there.
Even if it's true, it's really hard to say what the tears were for. It could be because he empathized with the family. Maybe he, I don't know, connected with the family during this case. He was even making a YouTube video about it. Maybe it's all completely innocent, or maybe not.
Maybe the tears are
fear.
Mm-hmm. Well, regardless, we can't even verify if this is real.
Definitely not.
Okay, so that leaves us with one more guy. One more guy, stick with me guys here. One more person, the zombie hunter. What do you remember about the zombie hunter? I'm gonna give the quick brief details real quick, but do you remember anything about the zombie hunter?
He was around the area partying when Adrienne disappeared.
Exactly. He was partying in the location when Adrienne disappeared. Okay, so his name is Brian Patrick Miller, aka serial killer known as the zombie hunter. He was brought forward to police by a friend of his regarding his potential involvement in Adrienne's death. Police began looking further into Miller. Brian Patrick Miller had been arrested in 2015 for the 1992 murder of 22-year-old Angela Brasso and the 1993 murder of 17-year-old Melanie Bernes. The individual who mentioned Brian to investigators, who was a friend of his, a friend of Brian's, the serial killers, but after he was already apprehended for those 2 murders that he committed in the early 90s, this friend of his started kind of thinking, oh my God, Adrienne Salinas vanished in June of 2013. I remember we were hanging out in this neighborhood in June of 2013. Could he have been involved with Adrienne Salinas' disappearance? You know what I mean? He's my friend, but he is already, charged with killings, so he brought this information to law enforcement. And he explained that he had attended a party only 1 mile away from Adrienne's apartment.
Suspicious?
Yeah, with Brian the same weekend that she had disappeared. At the moment, Brian Patrick Miller has not been named as a suspect in Adrienne's death, but I think police did look into it. So let me, sorry, you want to mention something?
No, I did read somewhere that the police talked to him and he said he couldn't recall anything about her. Like, he doesn't know.
He doesn't know where he was, or?
No, he couldn't,
He doesn't know who Adrienne is?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so let me walk you through his previous crimes just to kind of understand what kind of person we're talking about here. So, firstly, murder of Angela Brosso in 1992. Angela was 22 years old, so kind of matches Adrienne's age range. She was murdered in November 8th of 1992. She was abducted while riding her bike near the Arizona Canal. She was brutally murdered, decapitated, and mutilated. Her head was found 11 days later. She had been essayed as well. So this is kind of interesting because, as you remember, Adrienne's autopsy doesn't mention her head.
Yes.
And Angela Barroso was decapitated. So there's something. Second crime, murder of Melanie Bernas. 17-year-old Melanie Bernas was found in the same kennel as Angela Brosso, but she was found in September in the following year of 1993. She was stabbed multiple times, and there was ritualistic style markings on her remains. Evidence showed that she has been assayed as well. They were able to use genetic genealogy, if I pronounce it correctly, and they linked him back in 2015 to these crimes. On top of these two confirmed murders, Miller has a history of stabbings and attacks. He is responsible for the Paradise Valley Mall stabbing, which happened in 1989. At this point, the victim did not die, and they just got stabbed. At this point in 89, this man, the zombie hunter, he was 16, and he stabbed a woman at the mall. He served time in juvenile detention until he was 18. So I think after that first stabbing that he ever did, he had to go to juvenile detention for 2 years. Late 3 years after that stabbing in 2002, there was a Washington State stabbing, because I think at that point he was living in Washington State for a little bit. He stabbed another woman. At that point he claimed self-defense, and they actually even believed that it was self-defense at that point. Why is he called the zombie hunter is because he became a well-known cosplay figure at conventions, I think in the Arizona area. He drove a modified police-style car decorated with fake blood, and he used this persona to gain social attention.
What a psycho.
Yeah, he is strongly suspected in another violent crime, especially multiple crimes, but especially in the disappearance of Brandy Myers, who went missing and was found, is presumed to be murdered in 1992. Brandy Myers was 13, and the zombie hunter's ex-wife reported that the zombie hunter, Miller, he confessed to her about abducting and dismembering a girl matching Brandy's description. Police wanted to charge him, but the prosecutors denied because they said there would not be enough evidence to book him on this particular crime. But I heard somewhere it was mentioned that police are almost 100% positive that he is responsible for Brandy Myers' disappearance, but they didn't have enough evidence. So it seems like this person killed, by the sound of it, 3 people, 3 women. Well, one of them was just a young girl. Other possible attacks, there were several stabbings and assaults from his teenage years onward. Okay, so really quickly, before I wrap up what we have here on Miller, the one thing about Miller is that it seems to me that all of his crimes happened in the 90s, and he already had a family and a daughter or something like that by the time that he was apprehended in 2015. So it seems like there is no known crimes that he had committed, around the time when Adrienne disappeared. So either he, if he is responsible for Adrienne's disappearance, he would have had to do it spontaneously after many years, or maybe there's a trail of crimes that he did that they just can't book him or connect him at all. So who knows, actually. This type of guy, the zombie hunter, I could easily see how he has
an urge to do it randomly.
How there's so many more killings that we don't know about.
And he was just a mile away from where Adrienne was at. How convenient that he was there.
How convenient. And they found him guilty on the 2 murders back in the early 90s because in both cases there was DNA left behind. Maybe he got better.
Or maybe he just got lucky.
No, what I'm saying is maybe he got better later on.
Okay, in what way?
Not leaving DNA behind. Maybe there's more bodies that no one knows about.
Oh, okay.
That's how you would explain the 20 years gap. And if he would be responsible with Adrienne. But then again, Adrienne, I don't know if they found any DNA on Adrienne's body. It would feel like her remains. I don't know how DNA works.
It was mummified.
I don't know.
Will they even get something from it?
That's another good question. I don't know. Okay, so really quickly, autopsy from Adrienne's case mentions no hands or head, so this kind of matches up with the MO of the zombie hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then another thing worth mentioning, and this is kind of damning, the same friend that tipped off Miller as a potential culprit in Adrienne's case, he said that they used to go on treasure hunts together because at that point the friend was working for Times Magazine, and Times Magazine would organize treasure hunts, we hide some money, there's some clues, and you could go find the money. So this friend would ask Miller to join him, and they would kind of go drive around. So they were treasure hunting because, they were reading the clues, where this treasure could be hidden, it's, a corporate company, event. And they were thinking, it sounds like it's in this location called the Week's Wash in kind of close to Tempe. And this is the same, and they drove there and they searched for the treasure hunt. And now it's strange because this is the same location where Adrienne's remains were found as well.
So what a coincidence.
Yeah. And also Miller worked right down the path from the location where her remains were found. Not super close, but kind of close.
Just down there, basically.
Yeah. At this point, there is no DNA evidence to link Miller to Adrienne's disappearance, only circumstantial evidence he was in the same area around the same time. But there also is no evidence to rule him out as well.
Very interesting. It's hard to form an opinion about this, no?
What do you think?
I really don't know. Because it feels like the MO... I don't know, there's a pattern there. And the fact that the body and the hands were missing is just very suspicious that it's his MO. And also, he seems linked to the place where they found the remains. So that's very interesting. And the fact that he's a mile away, a serial killer a mile away. It's crazy to think about. But I don't know. I can't say that I'm leaning towards the fact that he's guilty. I just can't.
Who do you find more suspicious? Thomas Simon Jr. or Brian Patrick Miller, the zombie hunter?
Miller, for sure. Mainly because Jr. might just be an
innocent guy who never did anything wrong.
Maybe that hacksaw was just oh, I wonder who put it here. Maybe he forgot that he put it there or something.
It's still a possibility that Junior, we know his dad is wild card. But Junior, there's a complete possibility that he's an innocent guy.
Just acting weird. Or maybe we think it's weird because it was highlighted.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think the zombie hunter definitely is more suspicious in my opinion because we know this guy is a killer.
Yes, for sure. And the fact that Adrienne was missing her head.
Now, about the zombie hunter, we don't know what kind of car he's been driving. We don't know the exact location of the party. We don't even know when he was at the party. Was it at the evening? We don't know was he accounted for during those hours. I think it was mentioned that there is no evidence to say that he's not involved. So maybe, I don't know, by the time this came out, he's already, I believe, on death row or something, or maybe not, I don't know. So he's like already, never getting out of prison at this point, because they connected him to the early 90s killings 2 years after Adrienne Salinas' case went down. So at this point, I don't think he would even want to talk to police or anything, or even provide an alibi, because he's already done. Like, he's done. He's done. He's done forever now. He's never walking outside of prison again, or maybe he's even on death row, I don't know. So maybe there is no reason for him to provide an alibi, so maybe that's why no one really maybe knows what he was doing at, on the same day when Adrienne went missing.
Yeah, I agree.
So to finish off, I kind of went online a little bit, and there is another theory kind of proposed widely, I would say, by people online, and this is the thing I kept running into a lot. It could have been a situation where there was a wrong car / opportunistic predator abducted Adrienne. What do you think about this? That someone was either driving behind Adrienne, or Adrienne maybe just was erratic, just got inside of a wrong car, and things escalated from there. Do you think it's a possibility that the cabbie is completely innocent? He's telling the truth. That just someone picked her up in that 14-minute span.
Definitely. Once again, I think she was very desperate to go to Francisco's house or apartment, and I think that desperation, it was easy for someone to lure her in.
Hear me out. On Reddit, people mentioned similar cases, and this apparently happens. Really quickly, hear me out. Australia, 1996. Sarah Spearer. She disappeared in January 27, 1996. She was 18. She spent the night out in a nightlife district in southern Australia. Around 2 a.m., she used the payphone to call for a taxi. A taxi arrived quickly, but by the time it reached the pickup point, she was gone. Witnesses reported seeing a light-colored car stop near her. She was seen leaning into or getting into this vehicle. She was never seen again. Her body has never been recovered, and the exact circumstances of what happened remain unknown. During the 2019-2020 Claremont serial killing trial, police argued that Edwards, a culprit in that case, likely abducted her, but the judge ruled that the evidence wasn't strong enough to convict him in her case. Sarah is believed to have entered a car she mistakenly thought was her booked taxi. So there's a case from 96 back in Australia. Very similar. Then hear me out again. Samantha Josephson. This is happening more recently. 2019, March 29th. Samantha was a 21-year-old. She was a University of South Carolina student, and she was out with friends in 5 Points, a nightlife district. After leaving a bar alone, she ordered an Uber. A black Chevrolet Impala pulled up near her. This was not an Uber. She was thinking it was her ride, and she got into this car. The child safety locks were engaged, preventing her from escaping. a man by the name of, I don't know his first name, but the last name is Roland. Roland abducted her and drove her around before killing her in a brutal attack involving more than 120 stab wounds. Her body was found in a remote area around 65 miles away. And then lastly, someone mentions Kaylee Sawyer. I know you want to chime in. Kaylee Sawyer, 2016, July 24, was a 23-year-old woman, became separated from her boyfriend after an argument near Central Oregon Community College. She encountered Edwin Lara, a campus security guard who was driving a police-style security vehicle. Lara offered her a ride using his job and uniform to appear trustworthy. After she got into the vehicle, Lara kidnapped her. He later confessed that he essayed and murdered her. After killing her, he embarked on a multi-state crime spree, including carjackings, kidnappings, and attempted murder before being arrested in California. He received a life in prison sentence without parole. So these things happen.
I was just dumbfounded by that 120 stab wounds.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane.
That's crazy.
It's really hard to think about, but yeah.
That's crazy. And I think this is a information for our listeners. Please be super careful with
check the plates, please.
Man,
before you go in.
Just try not to even go in, to be honest. Like, if
what
you
do you
don't
mean if you need it?
I don't know, maybe like public transport sometimes safer, just for safety purposes. Because I read these stories, dude, I was scared, especially for women. This seems like a pretty dangerous danger. Like, I didn't know that Uber is dangerous for women.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's always the women, mainly because, we're generally weaker than men physically.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So this is a scary thought, man.
Really scary. And yeah,
really
I do agree that something similar might have happened. It's one of the possibilities.
And then on top of that, something I didn't mention because I can't verify, but I read it on multiple locations, but I couldn't find an official confirmation. There is a CCTV that captured Adrienne, or someone matching Adrienne's description, walking towards the AM/PM convenience store, and there is a black SUV following behind, not like strangely following behind, but kind of like drove past as Adrienne walked past, then the SUV drove past. So now the question is, if this is real, maybe the SUV could have picked her up.
Yeah, could have. Yeah, I agree with that. It's just that I think she was in such a vulnerable state at that night.
Yeah, definitely.
It would have been so easy for bad people to take advantage of her, yes. Unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately.
What about the AM/PM people? Do you find them suspicious?
The convenience people?
Yeah.
The store? I don't find them suspicious. They were never mentioned, but do you have some suspicions there?
No, not really. Mainly, I'm just like, I don't know, trying to cover all the possibilities. Like, there are still people there.
Yeah, but they have a camera there.
Inside?
And Adrienne never went in.
Oh, okay. Probably never also like went close.
She never reached it.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
Yeah, so I kind of ran out of information to provide here. What do you think happened after all of this? Where would you lean towards?
Definitely not Francisco. And the cab driver, I think he could be just an innocent oddball. But it could have been the zombie hunter. But I guess for me, maybe it was. I wouldn't put it past this. But for me, it could be also just a random guy, a random pickup who just took advantage of her, unfortunately.
Me too. I am leaning in the same way. I think, to me, out of these outcomes, most likely is that she hopped into a car that wasn't an Uber. She badly wanted to get into, not Uber, but taxi. She badly wanted to get into a taxi.
Badly.
And maybe she got into the wrong car.
Mm-hmm. Oh, maybe she even knew. Maybe I swear, maybe she just hitchhiked. She seemed too desperate to get into Francisco's home, and she even banged up her car, walked back, was agitated and calling the taxi. Maybe someone drove faster, or like someone around there was like, oh wait, yeah, you can come in, and took advantage of her. And if she was that erratic and drunk, then even more so. What do you think?
I think you're right. I think you have a good point. I think this is where we should wrap up.
Yeah. Very sad case. Very sad.
Very sad case. Thank you guys for listening to the podcast. Please leave your thoughts of what you think happened, and we'll talk to you on the next episode.
Please always be safe. Always check the plates. Always, don't go into a stranger's vehicle or something.
Yeah.
And we'll catch you very soon.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.